Good evening from Mantic HU.
How are we all doing? We got the chat in. Yay! If you're on chat, I'll try and get this not broken.
So apologies for being a bit late. We did get stuck in traffic on the way up, although we managed to make it through. And here we are for the first, I believe, the first live stream of Kings of War, the role-playing game.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like you've both had a little bit of an advantage, like I said before off camera. I haven't played it before, but I think it was an earlier iteration. And you both have different characters now as well. So.
Yeah. I was a salamander before, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you were the kind of brave and adventurous
ladies lizard.
Yeah.
That's her call.
And
the over arrogant paladin.
Yeah. We managed to take out an ogre.
Yeah, after emasculating him, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right. That's tough enough. So yeah, we're playing the tri-core iteration tonight of Kings of War, the role-playing game. We do have a couple of Twitch streams happening later on in the week, so we'll keep you updated on those. One being the D&D version also.
There we go.
Just to take you through a few of the basics, I guess.
Alright, and we are good. You know what? It's on Mantic YouTube. You'll know it's us as well. It doesn't matter. Happy. There we go. Hello, Steve, Hans, Chris, Robert. We'll try and keep up with the chat. I've got to squint to see it, so if I miss you, sorry. Right, all ready?
Yeah, cool. So we're using, like I say, we're using the tri-core iteration tonight. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay on the mic.
No problem so far.
Like I say, you're at a little bit of an advantage, but I'll try and slow it down and speak a bit more slowly with my nice kind of West Country accent, not being too much of a problem for people. If it is, just shout, and I'll try and slow it down a little bit as well. So just looking at the basics of the character sheet, tri-core revolves around a core dice pool of 3d10, and that's represented on the character sheet by your 3 red dots in each of the stats of body, mind and social. They represent your core 3d10 dice pool, like I say, and there is an opportunity in character creation to reduce those if you wanted to kind of expand into other areas or delve further into your archetype. Then you can tinker with the dice pool in those stats. So that's the basic dice pool of 3d10. Every time you roll, you're looking for a 7 or more for a clean success. A 6 buys you a success with payback, so it kind of fell forward. 2 to 5, no effect, it's just neither a success nor a failure, doesn't generate payback or anything special. A 1 always generates payback, and also doesn't, it just generates payback, that's it, no success or anything there. A 10 will explode. So we're all familiar with that, I think, with a lot of Mantic games. So a 10 will explode and it will add a dice to the dice pool rather than a re-roll. It's actually adding the dice in. It's quite often have to correct people on that. So you'll pick up another d10 from somewhere else and roll it on top of your dice pool. Because it's easy to lose track of daring or payback if you don't. So that's your core 3d10 dice pool. And then we add in elements which we call keywords, which we're quite proud of in the system. So every time you go to roll a dice or make a test, I'll say you make a specific skill test or a stat test that's related to that skill, and then you can build in your keywords. So if you're making a kind of physical dexterous type test and you have a nimble or dexterous type keyword, you can say to me, I'll use this keyword from that stat. Great, let's add an extra d10 to the dice pool. Okay. You can only add 1 d10 in from each area of stats, skills and gear for each dice pool. So your dice pool is kind of naturally capped in most instances at 6 d10. So you can add a die in from your stat, you can add a die in from your skill, and if gear provides a die benefit or keyword, you can add it in from there as well. And I'm personally quite flexible about how you can use those. So I'll try and enable the story as much as grow the narrative. So talk about that is for instance, if you're trying to intimidate somebody, it might be as much about your strength as it is about the words that you're using. So if you stood there with a hefty great big double-handed axe waving it in someone's face, then
Yeah, that would work on me.
yeah. So you can start adding in either the threatening aspect of the weapon, or rather than relying on your social skills, you rely on your kind of intimidating physique. So we can build other elements in there. And that's essentially it. So like I say, if you were making, if we look at Mavril here, for instance, so her key stat would be spellcasting. She's a stone priest. Or she just have some nice body, a nice body keyword as well. So just to kind of clarify spellcasting here, spellcasting is always a mind test, and it's always mastery. Mastery being the kind of mastery of magic, or the aspect of magic they're drawing on.
Okay.
So for Mavril, and this obviously relates to Xander also, you'd say secular knowledge would be, so you'd say I'm making a spellcasting test based on 3d10, add in 1d10 for secular knowledge from her mind. Clearly that's related to upbringing as a stone priest, and the kind of knowledge she's gained of the stone priest elements of the dwarven cast. And then mastery, she has geomancy, which is her kind of earthen magic, so 1d10 for secular knowledge, 1d10 for her geomancy, and then if you had anything under her kind of archetypes, or perhaps a magic item might bring in some keywords. In this instance, Mavril doesn't, neither does Xander, I believe. So basically, every time you go to cast test at the moment, your dice pool bringing in those elements would be 5d10.
Okay.
And then we can just make a quick test. So that's a clean success, is a 7. A 2 and 2 5s, no successes, and 1 payback. So another interesting aspect of the system is that if you're using keywords in your dice pool, you can ignore the first instance of payback in a test, because you're drawing on the special aspects of your character. So that lets you kind of negate any bad karma that's coming your way. And you're heroes in the world after all, so you get to kind of reap those benefits and push your luck a little bit. So if you're using a keyword, you can always ignore 1 instance of payback in that dice pool.
Okay.
And I should say there are some negative keywords. So if you're casting a spell in a threatened situation, you might pick up the threatened keyword, which can reduce your dice pool retrospectively. And there's a bit of balance here about increasing difficulty or gaining negative keywords. Some situations clearly give you a negative keyword, and then other situations might increase the difficulty. Any questions there?
None so far for me.
That's the kind of basics of the test, really, and the core of the system, in essence. The tri-core dice pool, drawing in the keywords, paybacks in the kind of core system without adding in any of the bolt-ons or options. Paybacks are an immediate effect that the GM can employ. So each NPC or monster will have what's called a power. So in combat, that can be a kind of Isham, for instance, the paladin might have taken a mighty swing by rolling his entire dice pool, and he might have generated a couple of paybacks. So the goblin might slide a small dagger into his ribs for a point of damage in that instance, it's always immediate effect for the GM to it kind of stops combat feeling static.
Okay.
So if I swing and miss, and they swing and miss, there's a bit of ebb and flow between it all. And that scales with the foe that you're fighting. So if you're up against a mighty dragon, it's going to breathe fire everywhere all the time. Then you can clip in its edge and take a bit more damage retrospectively than a goblin. So it's important to draw on those keyword elements to negate those. And the deeper you get into archetypes, the more you can kind of tinker with that karma aspect. And going into the kind of bolt-on options with daring and payback, then daring kind of really drives the heroism. Might let you gain an extra attack. Wipe out fatigue, which we'll get into in a bit. Vanguard players will be familiar with that element. And it's more just an indication to say that you've acted, and you might be a bit out of wind in that round afterwards. So, and then payback also becomes more of a pool for the GM to have a bit of fun with as well. So kind of growing skeletons out of the ground and that kind of thing. So it becomes less immediate and more of a calm aspect between the two. And you can have non-combat payback as well, which can also be immediate. So some of the NPCs might have, if you're interacting with them socially, we can build in powers and payback that relate to that social aspect. So one of the NPCs in here does have a kind of you've tried to talk me into something, I'm not quite happy about that. He can up his ante in the social game as well. So yeah, they're quite, like I said, they're quite unique and
Okay.
fun little things. Any questions really?
So the keywords, just for me. So are they just from that, or can you use stuff like from there?
Yeah. So every skill counts as a keyword.
Okay.
So you'll have your kind of main heading.
Yep.
And then under that, you've got these count as keywords. So you've kind of, by a rank in the skill, that
Yep.
grants you a keyword straight away. And every time
Okay.
like for Mayville, she has two-handed warhammer.
Yep.
Every time she swings her warhammer, she can rely on that
Mhm.
keyword. There's one of the main negative keywords is incompetency.
Okay.
So, for instance, Mayville's trained in melee, and particularly
Mhm.
with a two-handed warhammer,
Yeah.
that means she's trained in melee, so she
Mhm.
can pick up a sword and swing it,
Yeah.
but she won't gain the benefits of that keyword.
Okay.
So she doesn't gain negative aspects or negative keywords,
Yeah.
but she doesn't gain the positive
Yeah.
of a two-handed warhammer particular training. Whereas when she goes to pick up a bow, she has no training whatsoever.
Okay.
So she doesn't have a keyword. So, like for instance, like I say here, she can swing the sword but not gain the keyword. Whereas if she picks up a bow and tries to fire it, she had no training whatsoever. She'll get the incompetency negative
okay.
keyword.
Yeah.
And that will reduce her dice pool straight away.
Makes sense.
She's had no training there
Yeah.
whatsoever. Yeah. So that's the difference between having a trade and a keyword in it.
Okay.
Having a trade and not using that keyword, and then just being completely untrained. Is that negative incompetency keyword?
All right.
Any questions from the floor, I guess?
We've just got a lot of hellos coming in. So we have the chat next to us. So if anything comes in, we'll hopefully be able to. If you've got any questions about any of the systems, let us know. As I say, we're both learning again. So if there's any questions from the chat, just shout them out. I'll try and get them to when I do, unless I'm doing a really silly accent. So.
Yeah, I'll warn you now. I'm not anywhere near this kind of level of Matt Mercer, so I'll try my best. But
we've got two Matts, but no Mercer.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think.
And we figured out we have all the ends tonight as well. It's kind of Matt, Mark.
Yep.
And Molly J behind the camera.
Done. For now.
I think that's pretty much the core of it. As we get into combat, we can stop and talk about those elements.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we just dive straight into the adventure.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, Mantic and Matt Go particularly kind of gracefully gave me the Successor Kingdoms to have a bit of play around in. So we've started to build some of the elements of those nations into that, and a bit of a large playground there already of smaller nations and kingdoms, and there are already some established, of course, but we're trying to wedge more in as we can and build them into our campaigns and build on the lore there. So the background we've built for this campaign in particular, which this is the introductory adventure in the quick start, free to download from red-scar.com or from Drive-Thru RPG.
Cool.
And I should say we have a D20 variant of this as well, so this has been fully converted to 5e if that's your flavour. This kind of introduces players to a little bit of tension that's building up in the Successor Kingdoms. And in particular, there's a nation on the rise called Nightfall, headed by a not a very nice lady called, it used to be called Githa, but now she's called Githza, and she's kind of following on from the Shadow King legend. Rise of the Shadow King, I think it was, the Choose Your Own Adventure book.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So it follows in from the lore, it ties into that. We're trying to make Easter eggs and link things up, and so she's directly related to that. And this quick start follows into a campaign that will eventually pit the players against her kind of epic powers. So you've all kind of heeded the call really to come to the aid of a small independent town called Daleks, wedged in between Nightfall, on a kind of split land in between two arms of a river, and another kingdom to the east. And they're really kind of determined to stay independent. They have their important trading posts on that river. They've had great success. They've managed to stay independent so far. So you've kind of heard this call from a company or outfit called the Guild of Progress, which has brought you all towards Daleks for various reasons. Mavro in particular, I think she's kind of heard some rumblings in the stone, and the spirits have reached out to say there's terrible things happen to the spirits and the elements in Nightfall, and that's what's drawn her to investigate. And Xander, kind of the natural aspects of the Green Lady and the kind of tension and horror that you can feel building over there as well has drawn you. So it's not so much the Guild of Progress that's drawn you, it's the kind of want to return or restore the elements to some sort of balance. And you've travelled up the Lunava River on a boat called the Motherlode with a particularly surly dwarf called Casgrin Crestfallen, who's been your not very gracious host on this river barge for just about a week. So you've kind of travelled upstream from down towards the Infant Sea, and maybe joined at different points. You probably had a bit of a natural bond anyway from your kind of elemental aspects and that kind of connection to nature in different ways. And like I say, you spent the better part of a week now with Casgrin, who's either kept himself or shouted at you in his surly dwarven tones. And you've kind of come around a bend in the river, and you can see a kind of trail winding up the hillside as you've come around, with Daleks sat on top, and there's a small jetty which Casgrin's angling the river barge towards with his little single sail.
Okay.
He's kind of like, "We're here now, laddies. Prep yourself to get off."
Oh, I just want to be
And lassie,
off the water.
and lassie, I'll be sorry to see you go.
I doubt it.
At least she's good company.
My feeling's mutual. Right into the Scottish accent, it's happened.
Yeah.
I said I wouldn't do it. I sort of immediately off the boat.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on water
To
anymore.
be honest, laddie, you're not too much trouble, but your cat's always underfoot.
Yeah, well, she doesn't really like being on a boat. Isn't that right, Lyrics?
She's kind of tucked under the planking. It was one of the seats near the back, staying away like the donkey's reach when they've lashed out one too many times at her. And she's got a bit too curious.
I'm immediately off the boat.
I am spending some time coaxing Lyrics off of the boat.
Yeah, he kind of gently bumps into the jetty, and as you leap off, he throws you a rope. Tie us up, lassie.
Give it a crack. Just probably the worst knot that's ever been done, but
Well, you can get straight into a test if you like.
ooh, go on then.
Uh,
Alright. I don't really have any.
So it'll be a body test.
Alright. So if I
Maybe if you had larceny, something like that would come into play, or acrobatics, rope tying, that kind of thing.
I've got engineering.
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
That'll do.
Yeah, so it means you're not incompetent. You know, you
incompetent.
kind of You've had a bit of
So-
rope experience, shifting ore and that kind of thing.
So it's the 3 to
Yep.
start off with, and then I get the extra because of the keyword, or is that not?
So it's engineering's a skill for you, but it's yes, it is a keyword. Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
So, the extra, and then nothing else. Let's go. So that was a 10,
Which explodes.
a 1. So you say roll an extra dice rather than So so it was a 10, a 1, double 1, 4 and a 6.
Okay, so that's a good use of payback straight away.
Great. As a
Okay,
boat.
so you got 2 successes, and I should have said beforehand the difficulty, but it was difficulty 1 basically.
Okay.
So, you've got a nice big pillar to tie up against. It would have been quite easy.
I'm a bit seasick.
But yeah, so you've got the 10 exploded and generated you some more payback. The 6 grants you an extra success, but also generates payback. But because you're using a keyword, you can ignore that.
Okay.
So that's left you with 2 instances of payback and 2 successes. So you've succeeded,
Okay.
but something's gone wrong. So you've kind of tied up the front end of the boat, and you're working on tying the back end because there's a heavy current. But just as you do it, the rope slips out your hands, skins your hands, and the back end kind of drifts out. And Catherine's like right up on the rail. "What are you doing, lassie? I thought I could trust you."
It's alright. I'm not used to the water, and I don't know what was in that beer. Give me a sec.
Yeah, you kind of spent it like he's huffing and puffing and reeling the. Oh, let's have another go at this. Yeah? I knew I should have done it.
It's not my job.
I only trust myself.
Stone priest. What? No. Leave that to you.
So he spends a bit of time. He's really even more sturdy than he usually is. But calls a rope back over one and throws it over to you again. Have another go, eh? I've got no choice now. Have I?
Should I do another time?
Yeah, you can. I mean, we'll tie it in. So, another aspect we're looking at bringing in, which will probably be an option. If you've got enough keywords to meet difficulty. If you don't want to roll, then we'll just say success. So. That's not an official rule yet. I'd say that's one of the options we're playing with. That's what playtesters. So it's met quite a good bit of popularity amongst playtesters. So.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
But obviously, rolling your tests is kind of where the fun comes in with exploding and the daring if we're using daring. So you get the rear end tied up. Cool. Casgrin's still pretty surly about it. He's like, right, get the cat off now. Eh? I don't suppose it can carry one of the crates, no?
Does it look like it can carry the crates?
Well, you're no use to me, so...
Lyrics.
So we gave Matt the... Video Matt, I should say.
Video Matt.
First roll with the rope. So we'll
everyone.
give you a roll to kind of leap over the railing.
Sure.
Because the planking and the jetty is like a pontoon type effect. So as you jump on, you feel it kind of dip and swish around. So we'll give you a very quick test to try and keep your feet dry.
So I've got that. Would I be able to use my fleet feet for that, or is that literally
absolutely
just
would be able
speed?
to. Yeah.
So that's 4. That is 1, 2. That's 2 successes straight off. That is 1 with payback and just payback, and I can ignore 1 payback.
You can ignore the 1, yeah. So what I'm going to say with that is that you actually drench Poe, who looks pretty upset about that. Kind of hisses at you, shakes himself off, and so you keep your own feet dry with your successes, but you've managed to upset Poe for the time being. He pounds off up the off the jetty onto the dry land.
Great, I'm going to be paying for that for weeks.
Where's the D&D voice, Matt? You got to be more specific than that. There's 2 Matts now.
I think our dodgy Scottish accents will make up for that.
It's gonna come out. I got to roll into it.
Sorry to any Scottish people that are watching, by the way.
I'm not.
You should be, but you're not.
I should be. I should really be.
So yeah, you kind of following in Poe's wake onto dry land. Casbrin's kind of huffing and going in behind you as he's unloading crates of ore, trying to get the pack mules off onto dry land, or onto the jetty at least.
I'm immediately just grab one of the crates that's on there. I feel obliged to grab a crate after boating us over and then nearly sending off his boat away.
And you've got the steep incline, like I say, up the slope. So you kind of heft the ore. Obviously, you've got a bit of staying power of your keyword there, so it's it's looking like it will be a long slog up slope, but you're pretty sure your legs can make it.
Yeah, I've got a low centre of gravity.
Yeah.
Used to whoring. He said it's got ore in it and stuff. So
yeah, it's they're kind of small chests full of various amounts of ore in there. So raw kind of iron.
Just to make it very clear, I am not helping.
Yeah.
What? Grab a crate.
Look, I've got to deal with the cat right now.
The cat's going to deal with itself, surely. I'm slogging all this up as well.
More for you.
Fine. Sooner we get up this hill, sooner I can find a pub.
Making work the hill?
Carrying up.
Yeah.
I've got a frown on you though.
So the kind of point of the system in the game is that we wanted seasoned adventurers as well. You know, you've travelled a lot. You've travelled halfway across the continent for a good while. So yeah, the slopes it's difficult, but you're only a little bit laboured and out of breath by the time you get out. But it's seasoned adventure like yourself, especially working the mines and travelling the forest and land. It's not too much trouble. Poe kind of slinks along behind you, still looking a little bit upset. Especially now as you're heading towards a settled kind of town as well. He's eyeing it up warily. Or she, sorry. She's eyeing it up warily.
And I just hold back until she catches up. It's like, I know. I know. And I pull out a small piece of meat and just feed it to her.
Yeah. She gives you a sceptical look. Stops it, but stays a little bit closer.
I'm like an outlet. I'm hungry, whatever.
And yeah, you crest, like I say, you crest the rise. You can see the palisade walls in front of you, which are well fortified, probably about 15-20 feet tall. You can see helmeted heads making their way around, lookout towers every so often, and a pair of guards at an open gate in front of you. And you can see the hustle and bustle of the town just through the open gate.
Okay.
Don't seem too bothered at your approach or your appearance.
Just open this box, still scowling at you. Be a doll, get the door. Make yourself useful. Come on.
It's open. Just go through.
And we've got the good pair of guards give you a nod. They're not interested. Don't seem too interested in stopping you or questioning you. Yeah.
Right.
Seems like they're used to sort of comings and goings at the moment. So.
All right.
I just eye them up. I don't think I've seen this much metal in a while.
They're dressed in like kind of gambesons with halberds, and yeah. So it's a well maintained outfit, but they're not not breastplate or chainmail up. It's look like town militia, but well disciplined town militia.
Okay.
Where do you want this box?
Where does it come from?
I don't know. Call down the hill. Where do you want this box? Where am I aiming for?
It's like, do you know what's in it?
I think it was ore.
You want Corwin's Forge then, I'd imagine.
Okay.
Thanks. Just off to the right as you go in.
Okay. I'm heading straight for there. I'm tired.
So as you both walk in, we can make a teamwork type perception check if you like. Okay.
Alright.
So if somebody wants to kind of nominate themselves to lead the test.
Well, I have heightened senses, so I can
I don't
probably.
have any keywords, so you play.
Just in character. The other thing is, I'm not carrying a box and being directed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm huffing.
So just before you roll, if you have any keywords that you'd like to add in.
No, I think the only thing is no, I haven't got anything. I was going to try and see how far I can push you and say, can I automatically sense where a pub is because I've got a strong liver? But
to be honest, I'd probably let you either bring in your inflexible pragmatism or your kind of secular knowledge, because one, you'd be looking around for any telltale signs of shrines, that kind of thing, which is going to help you observe the area. Your inflexible pragmatism will be places to avoid, people to avoid. Some people might not. So I'd allow you definitely to add in a D10 from that for your teamwork test. So teamwork tests, for the benefit of the kind of people watching, is that you nominate somebody to lead the test, and then anybody that's supporting the test can choose a keyword to add to the dice pool to provide another D10. So
that's 3 plus 1 plus another 1, so 5.
Big roll.
That's
no payback. I should have said, yeah.
Finally.
Difficulty 1. I should say, I must remember to say difficulty every time.
So that's 1 with no payback at least.
Yeah. So you kind of walk in, you notice the town's slightly overflowing, busier than you'd expect, and you can tell that by the way people are either using alleyways to walk off the main streets to stay out of the hustle and bustle, and just people that look like non-residents. So you can see the old mercenary band maybe passing through in armour. They're clearly not militia, clearly not residents. So it looks busier than usual. And there's just ahead of you as you walk in, you kind of north facing as you walk in, you can see the town square. Probably about half a mile distant, and you can hear the sounds of the forge off to your right, as the guard said, and you can hear the whinny of horses, which kind of draws your attention to the left, and you can see horses being exercised in a stable yard over there, so some sort of stables in that direction. And that's pretty much all you can pick out from that roll. So
okay. I'm just gonna head down and put this box so I can sort of be done with it. I want to get to the task at hand while I'm here.
So I kind of put the map out of the town here. So you've come in from this direction.
All right.
Should have sent the assets out really, so we could have clicked over. You come in from the east, I should say. Sorry. Got my map turn around. And you can hear the sounds of the forge just off in this direction, which you can see is like a low single story structure.
Okay.
You can see you've arrived in kind of late afternoon, just as spring's heading towards summer. So it's quite warm, but you can see the forge is working. You can see the smoke coming out of the forge works. You can clearly hear the ringing metal. And you pick up on a young apprentice kind of making his way from the outhouse towards the interior of the forge as you approach.
Okay. I'm just I'm just intrigued off the bat because I have the smithy key.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, what are they making? Is there anything good?
So, I mean, if you're going in, if you're taking the ore in, then you can see it's obviously the heat is nothing new to you. But yeah, the heat kind of hits you straight away. Even hotter than the sun outside, obviously. But you can see various weapons in various states of being crafted. Suits of armour set out on the kind of standard cross dummies, either being repaired or in the process of being made again. And there's a huge kind of, he's over 6 foot, massive broad shoulders as you'd expect any smith, and you can see the forged scars from his arms. He's kind of singing and tapping away on a piece of a piece of steel he has in and out of the coals. Doesn't pay too much attention, but he's got like long raven black hair tied back in a ponytail kept out of and his forged smock on as well. But yeah, he seems really intent on the work.
All right.
And the young lad's kind of like, if you could just place it over there. You can see casks in various states of either empty or half full. You know.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna place it down and then regroup review.
He's like, we're expecting delivery, so I'm just assuming there's more coming.
Down the hill. We're bringing more. There was multiple crates on the boat.
Because Master Corn will be upset if that's it.
Well, coming from experience, you don't want to piss off a smith, so that's okay. Don't worry. And yeah, I'll pop this one down here. I can always double check and see if they're on their way, but he was right behind us.
Awesome, thank you.
No worries.
At least I know he'll be happy.
Maybe for a couple of hours.
Well, he doesn't have much to smile about at the moment. So.
Busy day or just in general?
Oh, just family problems. Yeah, I don't want to kind of go into it too much, but yeah, he's not had much to smile about recently. So.
Okay. No, well, the work will keep him busy.
Yeah, well, it does. Yeah, especially with so many sellswords in town at the moment. So certainly not short of work.
Do you know where the sellswords are heading to? Is there a staging area of any sort, or we just got in? We heard there was a call to action of sorts.
Well, I spend a lot of time in the forge, to be honest. So I'm still learning the trade, but I think they're called the Guild of Fortune or the Guild of Forward or
okay,
the Guild of Prowess, something like that.
We'll call them the Guild for now.
The Guild, yeah.
So, do you know where they're based?
I think they're on the opposite side of town, opposite the Tipsy.
Right. Oh, is that a pub of sorts?
It is. Oh yeah, the Tipsy Witch.
Say no more. There's a first stop. Thank you very much. I hope you stay busy. Yeah, I'll put the box down and sort of peek around to see if the other boxes were coming because I don't want to tell him one thing.
You can't see any Sonic Hasgrim yet, but you knew he was kind of off. Just tried his best to offload the mule.
Right. Where do you think we should head? There's the pub. Could get a drink.
If I'm going to be hanging around here, I'm going to need one.
I knew we'd get along.
Yeah, a lot of pressing bodies in a very small space.
Do you want to head over there?
And a not very nice smell.
I'm from the woods. I'm used to bad smells.
I think just head more center into the village settlement, and just see if we can see more points of interest or this pub.
Should we check the comments quickly while we're here?
We got just buy the Boatmaster a pint of cider, it'll be fine. Rob Gladding that you're here okay. And I think it must be Elvis saying I should be doing the Eastern European accent, which is worrying when I thought it was Scottish, but okay. Just to remind anyone that's joined, if you got any questions about the rule set, anything to do with it, then just shout them out. I've got the comments open next to me, so we should be able to answer them pretty quickly. So if anyone's got anything, shout them out. But
yeah, and we'll try and keep you entertained in the meantime.
Yeah.
So as you make your way further into Daleks and kind of towards the town square, we'll go for another perception check if you like.
Alright. So you get that extra one, don't you?
So yeah.
No ones. Oh.
So there's 2 10s.
Nice.
Then
That's just a difficult one.
I was about to say.
3 passes. 3 passes.
4
passes.
4 successes, yeah. So that's kind of a lot of detail you absorb there, so I can kind of give you plenty of detail about the town. Like I say, picked on the fact that it's busier than usual. The town square has a few stores set out, and a few kind of what seem like overnight stores. They've kind of been hastily thrown together, people trying to sell mouldy apples that they brought in from the orchards, and just to make a few extra coins. And as you enter the town square, you see on the opposite side, you see a huge hulking ogre kind of shouldering his way through the crowd to the point that he seems to be making an issue of throwing his weight around. So if people veer out of the way, he'll head towards them to shoulder barge somebody, or it just seems a bit of a character. And then just past them, you can see the opposite gate from this view vantage point as well. You can see a sign swinging in the gentle breeze, which is coming up off the river. And on the sign, you can see what looks to be a witch who's drunk on a potion around a cauldron. So it literally is the Tipsy Witch.
Tipsy Witch.
She's a silverhead witch, which will play into the campaign later on. Too much to give too many spoilers away. And then opposite that, you can see what looks to be the guild, although it doesn't look very aggressive from this vantage point. So you can see the ogre's making his way towards it, and as you're kind of taking your time to soak up all the details, he heads to the shack, which is literally kind of almost like pallet planks, badly put together. So there are gaps in the planking. You can see kind of hemp sacks hanging in the windows, and you pick out a half-elven lady leaning up against the wall of the shack. She's got a pair of kind of blades hanging off her hips. Seems quite nonchalant and disinterested. She doesn't pay the ogre any heed as he walks up to the shack. She kind of stood picking her nails with a paring knife. She doesn't even give him the time of day. But yeah, the ogre kind of crouches and shucks his way into the shack, which you see rock and sway as he gets in. You're not quite sure where he's going to fit his bulk, but he manages to squeeze inside. And off to one side of the town square, you can see the general store, and what looks to be the council chambers as well. So, it's clearly a centre of business here. So that's kind of everything that you absorb from that.
All right.
Do I absorb this considering that I am a halfling and tiny, and we're in a crowd?
Yeah, it's taking advantage of the fact that you've either jumped on a crate to get your bearings, or you've both waited for breaks in the crowd. But yeah, you've picked up on those details. And particularly with the ogre shouldering his way through, people scurry out of the way, so it's left a clear path behind as well.
We're just ready. Dungeon Saga is my favourite game. Hoping this book will bring some epic adventures to my games. I play D&D 5th edition and have been hoping that the world of Mantic would get an RPG makeover. You're in luck.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's from what we've seen, it's absolutely jam packed. So, which is good because we're also both DMs, and so as much lore as possible is always fun. Because then you can do whatever with it basically.
Yeah.
So judging by the free, because you can get the free quick start rules, was it?
Yeah, quick start rules are available in our kind of tricore rule set, which obviously we're very proud of. But we've we've taken note of the fact that 5e's extremely popular and people like that flavour. So we've provided the quick start in 5e conversion as well, which we'll be including in the core book conversion. We'll be including new archetypes for the classes, the Mantica races that or Panathor races, sorry, that you're familiar with.
That's all right.
Yeah,
We're
I've
getting
been
used to it as well.
That's a recent change. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Well, I think it makes it because Mantica's still there, isn't it, in the consonant aspect? So
Yeah. So if you wanted to see any of that, then that seems like the best way, just to get stuck in, and then you can go from there.
Yeah. Just a note on that as well. We provide the alternate pre-gens. There's another free version of the quick start coming very soon, with a more mercenary style introductory adventure.
All right.
So with League coming very soon, we wanted to provide players and obviously Mantica's Kings of War's alignments are more loosely structured than D&D's, and we've kept that in the 5e flavour actually. It's kind of one of the very first chats I had with Ronnie. So we wanted to provide players with different ways of engaging with, so if you wanted a more mercenary style, the new quick start will do that for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Same rules, obviously, different adventure. It will relate directly to the League as well. And in there we have kind of things like the Engineer archetype coming for 5e. Obviously there are archetypes within Tricore as well, but we wanted to translate it all to 5e for people that would be familiar with that. So
sounds good. Right. Also, I love what you're saying about your height when I'm also a dwarf as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, in Mantica, they're considered like medium-sized creatures. So.
We'll just go on each other's shoulders, and then we'll be able to see
you could have ridden Poen, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think she's still a bit annoyed at me.
Yeah, true, she seems to be staying very close as well.
Yeah, I think I'm permanently going to have a hand just attached to my cat.
You get the odd, the groups of children scurrying out where they pop up an alley where they've been playing a game or something. Like, ooh, big cats! And some of them either try and make their way nervously over, and others give Poe a wide berth. So depending on how close you or Poe want to let them get. But there's some interest from the children as you're making your way through. You kind of draw on a bit of attention.
Should we make our way to that tin? I feel like if it's busy, then
yeah. Although I'm thinking, if this is supposed to be some form of guild house, it's pretty run down.
Yeah, it looks a bit shocking. There's no structural integrity in this. I mean, the whole settlement seems kind of a bit pop up.
Even the sign for Shack, you can see it's badly painted and badly written but it's been painted in tar, so it's kind of like run a little bit and dried in. The spelling's terrible. It doesn't look like I say, very progressive.
I mean, we can only see what's going on, because if it's not as organised as we'd like, then
we can always
I'm sure we'll find something. Make our way over.
Yeah. To the guild or the witch?
Guild. Yeah. Guild.
Yeah. So you walk up, and the half-elf, like I say, she's nonchalantly leaning against the wall, kind of one leg up against the wall. She kind of flicks her eyes up as you approach. If you're here to sign up, Torvik inside.
Torvik.
Okay.
Oh god. I'm firing my dice. As I go in, I'm sort of tap the structure with the edge of my hammer, just like
the plank kind of pops off a bit and sways to one side.
Oh god.
It's like whoever put the nail in didn't fathom that it needed to go into the wood behind it. So.
It's almost like I really want to address it, but it's just
the engineer in you's kind of like
it's making me
triggered.
twitch. Yeah, just stay on the task at hand and just try not to look at it.
I just look at you and go, this might be a mistake.
Maybe looks can be deceiving. Let's just go.
I don't think this is though.
You make your way into what looks to be the first room, because as you enter the room, you can see opposite you is another door to a smaller room in the shack. And the bulk of the room is taken up by 2 cot beds, with the ogre that you've seen sat on one, so the cot bed's bowed completely underneath his weight and touching the floor. You're not quite sure how it's not cracked or given way underneath it. But he's tucked his legs under the other cot as well, so the other cot's at an angle, so he's just completely just absorbed, not just consuming the entire space, but also making an entire mess of it. He just grunts slowly like, what?
We heard this is where we sign up.
He like picks up one big ham hand and points to the door behind him and says, Torvik.
Okay.
Alright. And he just slaps it back down. Glaring at you with his kind of reddish eyes.
So I puff myself up, like,
but he's completely not shifting, so he's pretty much blocking the door, but just staring at you like with this malicious grin on his face.
Just gonna try and move past.
Yeah, you can clamber over easily enough,
Yeah.
but he just gets the smug satisfaction of making you do that.
Just sort
does
of
not move at all.
like not gracefully. I want to kind of knock into him as I do.
Kind of tries to flip you off. So we can do a bit of an opposed test here if you like.
All right. I'm not budging.
What's the hammer?
I'll only watch it if you get out my way. Right. I know you're big.
Move or I'll flick you like a bug.
Everyone's the same height, flat on their back.
So it's an opposed test,
Alright.
and I'm going to be using my strength, obviously.
All right.
So we've got 3d10. I'm going to bring in one for his strength surge keyword,
Okay.
and then one for his body combat wrestling.
All right. So I'm opposing you with my roll as well, yeah.
Oh yeah, and his ogre trait, his racial trait, is that he's strong. So every time he uses a strength-based keyword, he gains a bonus d10.
So I've got. I mean, can I go with? I've got mastery combat and I've got endurance. Can I hurry? I don't think I've got anything else really.
Yeah, I'll give you the kind of you used to be able to dodge people in combat or pay attention in combat because of your spellcaster training. So I'll definitely give you that.
All right. I'm tiny.
Some resistant. No, who has staying power? Was it you had staying power?
No,
Somebody had staying power. But yeah, if you had that, would allow you kind of the staying power and grit and determination
Okay.
stuff. But yeah, you don't. So
All right.
it's 40-10 against 6, and then the most successes wins.
Oh. Oh no, it's a 10. I keep seeing the 0 on the
So, yeah,
on the
you've got-
D10. I got a bad.
Payback.
So I got a 10 and 8. So where's my
I've got a 10 there as well. So
where's my
Nope,
other?
didn't
Where's my
succeed.
other D10? I'm trying to find my other D10. Oh, cheers, mate. Okay, so 5, 2, 10, 8, and then a 1.
so I've got 2 successes. You did use keywords, so you can ignore the payback. Yeah. Sogoth, he got 4 successes and 2 paybacks, so I can ignore 1 payback. But I did generate some payback. So he out succeeded you.
Okay.
So basically, he's kind of like flicked his leg. We'll say you've hit the door and the door bursts open because it is a rickety door. It's in a room. You're kind of sprawled like on your hands and knees in like shocked position on the floor, looking into the room. And Sogoth's actually, as he's flicked you, he's not taken into account of the cot, so it's actually come back down and shinned his knee.
Can I take advantage of this to just use my fleet foot to just go through the gap?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he's kind of like "Ugh," stood up. The shack's rocked again. A couple of planks have popped behind him, and you've used that moment of his pain to dodge straight through. Yeah, and you've kind of like as you sprawled into the room, you're like in a shock of appearance. You can see a human stood behind a lectern in this kind of room that's overflowing with paperwork and ledgers and scrolls, maps on the wall. He's just like looked up in shock to the point that you see he's scratched a big bit of ink across his page. Like, what is this?
I take it you're Torvik?
Yes, who are you?
I'm Mavril. This is.
I'm Xander.
What is the meaning of disturbing my work?
We're not trying to disturb your work. It's your oath of a friend out there.
Sogoth!
Dusting myself up. Yeah.
He's here to see you, boss. Well, you meant to show them in, you oaf, not throw them at me. Oh, I'm off for a drink. Is Amberley outside? Yeah. And you feel the shaking rock again.
You might want to work on your hospitality
And your building.
Well, it appears you picked the wrong time of day to visit with my friend here in his good mood, obviously, clearly.
When is his good mood? I've never seen an ogre in a good mood, to be fair.
Probably after his first drink.
Actually, I can get behind that. Fair enough. We're here to join. We heard this is where we sign up to the guild.
Ah, you're here. He kind of like steeples his finger. You're here to join the guild, eh? Yes, come in. Close the door. Close the door.
Yeah, a choir. Good one. Sort of backing it behind him.
You're very much showing over the top.
Should say, as you notice, Sogoth he's like limping out a little bit as well. He's kind of shinned his knee and.
I'm really happy.
Yes, come in. Close the door. We have some things to discuss. Clearly. New arrivals.
Yeah, just now. Came by boat. It's been a long journey, so we're just wanting to get business done.
Understood. Yes. Well, welcome to Daleks. You have me at a slight disadvantage. Obviously, you know I'm Torvik. Who am I addressing? Sorry.
I'm Mavril, a priest of stone, and I heard through the elements there's trouble, so wish to offer my services in any way I can.
Well, that kind of those elements are beyond me, but yes, there is some kind of physical trouble here, as much as metaphysical. Clearly, wasn't aware of that, so that's something to note. And he seems scrawling in the ledger. and yes, you young fellow.
You trying to be funny?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you good master.
Yeah, I'm Xander. Nice way to make a first impression, dude. and this particular ball of
say the same of
fluff here
yourselves?
is Poe.
How do you do, Poe? Does it like salted meat?
It likes meat. She likes meat.
Sorry, yes, do apologise. Does she like salted meat?
I don't know. We've never tried it on anything other than fresh.
Yeah. Well, we have some salted beef.
I'm pushing your cat out of the way. I want some meat.
There's some jerky and nuts and
I'm starving.
bread on top of one of the bookcases in amongst some sheaves of paper and things.
I'm having some of that.
You can see actually where it started to stain one of the sheaves as well.
Oh.
Hygiene's as important as the build of the shack here, clearly. But yeah, you kind of the rest of the details of Torvik's room. It's a bedroom as much as it is a work area. So there's a curtained cot area on one corner, and I think you've seen the overflowing paperwork on various bookshelves. And he's working behind a ledger there. And you can see some of the maps on the wall. That map of the kind of river that separates Nightfall from Daleks. Daleks is kind of spit of land.
Okay.
So, what sort of work is it that you offer?
Well, we pay sales swords essentially to help us with maintaining the peace outside of Daleks. The militia here, are very efficient at keeping order within the walls, but they have a very strict remit to stay within the walls. So we've come along to organise the defence from an external perspective. We have various mercenary companies and sales swords working outside. Some even patrolling into Nightfall itself to perhaps head off any invasion. We've had lots of refugees over the weeks, so it seems like something is in the works.
And what kind of work has been the sellswords, but So has it just been going out reports of trouble, or?
Well, I mean, if you're here to sign up, we'll start you off small, to be fair, because I need to get a basis foundation of how well you operate, how successful you can be, what kind of tasks I can send you on. But yeah, we have some undercover work taking place deep in Nightfall. We have patrols of the borders of Daleks' kind of land. We have even escort missions into the Eastern Kingdoms to gather supplies and make sure trade routes are maintained in that direction. But if you're interested in signing up, then I'd probably send you on some sort of patrol. We pay well, actually. And I should say, some missions come straight from the League. We're here to fund the defence as much as Daleks are. It's important to us that this stays a free economy. And some come from the council itself. So I guess to you it doesn't really matter where the money comes from, but I need to be clear.
It might be the easiest way, personally, to find out what the troubles are that I've been feeling. I don't know about you.
Gets me out of the city, I'm happy. We're both happy.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, we can send you into the wilderness.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that.
Well, I guess the next question is, would you like to sign up as individuals or as a kind of collaborative duo? As in, do I have a name for your band, or are you expecting other members? Are you just happy to sign on as
We
individuals?
arrive together.
We'll see.
Yeah, we don't have a name, but I'm happy to travel with you.
Yeah.
All right. Don't know. I don't know what we'd call each other.
Well, we just sign you up as individuals, I guess, and then just assume, I'll just in mind annotate that you're working together. So not a problem.
I think we've got a common goal, and we'll be safer together.
And he points to the voice. So I'll add you to the roster and just annotate on the roster as well that you're working as a collaborative.
Okay.
A few other things we need to cover, I guess. The basics of, like I say, we pay you. That's totally your commission. We don't take any commission once it's in your hands. That's your money. We pay you well. All we ask is that you provide us 10% of any loot that you find, and we kind of expect to do it on a trust basis. So, if I hear that suits of plate and all sorts of material being sold on the open market here, and it makes its way back to me, and you hand me 10 gold pieces, there might be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, as long as the income's reasonable from that, then that's kind of standard fare, really.
That seems fair. The money's less of an object for me, but if that's what you want, that's fine.
And the other aspect is that we ask you to remain exclusive to the guild. It's kind of more in the event that other rival organisations don't turn up and try and muscle in on us organising the defence. So we ask that you sign on exclusively to us while you're under our employ.
Have any of us turned up recently, or?
We have other sellswords on our books, but yeah, no other kind of rival companies trying to organise any sort of defence, or it's just us, really.
Okay.
But we'll see as trouble builds, I expect, if trouble does build.
Okay. I don't see a problem.
No?
Perfect. I'll just take some details. And, he starts jotting down race and a few height details.
Standing up.
Yeah.
Straight
Use
up.
this kind of thumb and hands. Notes down Poe as well as a kind of characteristic of yourself. And then just look, well, if you're happy to sign, then spins the ledger around and points to the ink pot with the quill.
Yeah, give it a sign. And just shuffle it towards you.
Is it literally just a list of names and a roster, or are there sort of terms and?
So he's kind of gone to a ledger that, as you were talking, he's gone to a ledger that had standard copies of a set of terms and conditions in there, and he's filled out 2 sections for yourselves on some details, so like a double column, and then expect you to sign at the bottom. So there is small, well, I wouldn't say small print, it's clearly there for you to read, but it depends if you want to spend time reading it.
I would like to spend time reading it.
Yeah.
It's a contract. You should always read a contract.
Yeah,
I've gone back to the meat pile. I'm seeing if there's any.
There is some port there as well, in a decanter and
Yes.
So it's little more than he's described really. That you sign on with the Guild of Progress. They're here to defend Daleks, either themselves or the council funds any of the missions you're tasked with. It does state in there that missions are handed out at round about mid-morning, which he didn't say to you, but you can pick that up in the contract. So if you're not there by mid-morning, missions are gone. That's you done for the day. The 10% loot finding is mentioned in there, and the exclusivity. So there aren't. I mean, you can try and make a roll if you like.
Sure. So I can't think of anything that I'd naturally just be able to get from looking at these that I'd be able to use.
You don't have the iTunes term and conditions as a keyword.
I'd let you bring in heightened senses because you're kind of trying to stay alert for anything that leaps out naturally in the writing. But yeah, it's just difficulty 1. I remembered that one.
Hey.
So that's up to 3 with 2 5.
3 successes, yeah. So with that many successes, you don't find anything wrong in the contract.
Sure.
It kind of with that many successes, I'm going to say actually at that Torvik comes to join you for a glass of port, like, no, let's toast to this, and he turns his back exactly. And he actually flicked back a little bit and looked through some of the other signatures. So a couple of names that stand out are the Brazen Crusade. Seem to be another set of mercs in the area, and the Company of the Sword.
Okay.
Stand out to you as well. No, Company of the Blade. Sorry,
Company of the Blade and the
Brazen Crusade.
Brazen Crusader.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pouring you a drink.
Well,
everything in order? We good? Good. I'm sure it's fine. Alright. Between the sea legs and the port, I'm already going to my head.
So then just dips a pouring ink, just goes.
Yeah. I remember it's the small print of the contract anyway.
So when can we
Actually,
expect?
probably scribes it with a claw. Ruins the rest of the ledger.
It's better than my handwriting. When can we expect to hear from you about work?
Well, I expect to hear from you mid-morning tomorrow. So mid-morning at latest. We tend to dole out missions by then. If you get here earlier, then do so.
Okay.
And like I say, welcome to Daleks, and doubly so welcome to the guild. Huzzah!
Cheers. Right.
Quaffs his port.
Tipsy Witch.
Tipsy Witch.
Tipsy Witch. Straight there.
Any questions popped up?
Uh,
On the feed there, sorry, Matt.
Oh, no, not right now. Just been chilling, so nothing right now. We had that.
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
That's cool. So the Tipsy Witch is a 2-story structure. Really welcoming. So you walk in, you can see it's quite sprawling, out rearwards and upwards. There's an open hearth in the middle with a nice hog roasting on it. People seem to occasionally help themselves, so they'll go and grab a plate and carve a knife and help themselves to slice some meat and some steaming vegetables that are there as well. And as you enter, somebody's like, "Oh, welcome to the Witch, welcome, and welcome to Daleks," and everybody seems quite welcoming this time. And a very comely lady in almost like a flowing ball gown limps over to you, so she kind of hobbles over. She's like, "Come in, welcome to the Witch. Yes, come and sit down. We'll get you sorted." New arrivals?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm already a bit had a bit of a drink at the tent. Sorry. Yeah.
She's got like kind of her arms around both your shoulders. Like, come in. Welcome, young lady.
This is better hospitality, isn't it?
I'm Sousa. This is my establishment. If there's anything you need, then please shout. My crew here will be happy to help you.
Maverill, just arrived. Travelling companion.
Xander. This is Poe.
Welcome in, Xander. And Poe. She gives her a nice stroke. She actually gets down and kind of like strokes her face and says hello properly. And Poe seems very happy with that.
You could teach the rest of this place how to treat newcomers. Oh, I'm home already.
She's like, Mitch, get some fresh cuts out the back, uncooked.
Oh, right. So how long have you been here?
Ooh, heading on towards a decade now, I guess. Heading towards our 10th anniversary soon.
Noticed there's a lot of pop-up places. I'm guessing that's helped your business.
Yeah. We've obviously we're doing pretty well out of the influx of, well, not so much the refugees. We actually try and provide the council a bit of funding there ourselves from the inn to help the refugee situation, and food where we can. But yeah, and part of that is because we're doing so well out of so many mercs being in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, treasure hunters and gold. Dare I say it, gold rushers, I guess. Trying to use a PC word there.
And so has it been okay? And any trouble?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps that Daleks are still welcoming. So one thing you'll probably find is that we're quite trusting here, and that's yet to be abused. Hopefully, touch wood, it won't be. Most of the mercenaries seem to be towing the line and not taking advantage of the citizens' trusting nature, the residents' trusting nature. You know, the council are still running things. You can make a perception check at that.
Was she limping? You say?
Yeah. Difficulty 1, so that's a lot of payback.
That is 2 payback.
Yeah.
2 passes.
Okay, so you rolled a keyword, so we can ignore one.
So that's 1 payback. And,
yeah. So with that 1 payback, your attention gets drawn to a conversation over by the window, and you see a couple of militia chatting, and they just burst out in laughter. It's actually drawn your attention completely away from Caesar, so you've missed whatever was going on completely.
I don't want to draw attention to it, but your limp. What happened there?
Oh yes. No, it's fine. She lifts her leg up. She puts her kind of lower calf, what would be her lower calf, on one of the lower stools, and you see a very intricately carved and painted wooden leg there.
Oh.
You know, she says, "Oh, this. I got this on my adventures and my travels."
I used to be a sellsword, or
I'd like to say archaeologist in a loose term.
Nah.
Yeah, I kind of went dungeon delving back in the day and sought my. It earned me this place. I'm quite well settled now, but yes, I went as far as Ophidia back in my youth. And there's some crocodile out there that had a fine meal on my leg at some point. One of the River Ophid's larger beasts.
I'm still trying to find various cuts and scrapes. I think you might outdo me on this, but that sounds like a good tale.
I've got many a tale, trust me.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we make it back from a couple of jobs, we'll have to share some.
So yeah, definitely. Well, maybe we can share a few over Tanker tonight when it's a little. Well, it'll get busy, but if you're still here in the kind of quieter hours, then.
I think we'll still be here.
Well, speaking of that, we can arrange a room if you like.
I think that'd be useful.
Or you can just stay in the common room. It's up to you.
I feel like we want a room.
Too many people.
Well, I can do that for 5 silver a night, basically, which is half a gold. But for the 2 of you, because I like you. And again, I can do that. We can open up a tab, or you can pay up front. It's up to you.
Oh, I think we'll need a tab.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
She whisks a little notebook out of her skirt.
Apologies, Maveril. I don't think I introduced myself.
Yes. I think you did. Well, welcome, Maveril.
I can't know. It's been a long journey.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm going to introduce myself to you 5 times.
How many dwarves are drunk off 1 glass of port?
You don't know how much I had on that. He was trying to woo me the entire journey.
Who was this?
The dwarf on the boat. Was
There's
there?
only one dwarf I know that flies that river, and I reckon. No, surely not.
I can't remember
You
his
had to
name.
put up with his attention. Casgrin.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. That's him.
Oh my days.
I don't think he's seen a female in a while.
Oh, it's 'cause he's too busy staring at those donkeys' backsides. No, no, I'm not making any kind of.
Maybe. Yeah, it took its toll. So yeah, I'm happy to.
Well, look, we'll get settled in. I'll get you another drink to kind of hopefully wash that sour taste away of old Crestfallen and
The donkeys will get a look in.
his ass-ridden ship. And yeah, give you a chance to relax if that's all right.
Well, humbly appreciate your hospitality.
You're welcome to, like I say, you're welcome to the Witch. Hope to see you here many days in the future.
Definitely.
She hobbles off and starts to engage some of the staff you can see on hand to arrange a little bit to eat for you and a couple of drinks.
Do we spot a quieter corner?
Yeah, so it looks like you've got the open hearth in the middle, which has made it quite warm on this warm afternoon. And there's another hearth at the back, which is built into a chimney, a proper chimney breast. That's cold at the moment, but there is plenty of room over there. You can see a couple of off-duty militia that drew your attention away from whatever,
Everything.
From everything, yeah. And just a couple of other residents dotted around in singles or twos. But yeah, it's not overly busy at the moment.
Okay.
Curiously, you can't see the ogre that said he was going off for a drink. So.
That's a surprise.
I don't think our evening's really at a loss for him not being here.
Yeah, I don't know what his problem was. Oh well. So what do you think? Like, it's.
I mean, it's a guild that has a really badly maintained guild house.
I mean, they said they had funding, but I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
I haven't had much recruitment in my time, but I would have thought there'd be more to it. But okay, I guess we'll see with the work.
Yeah.
Should we take a short bar break there? If that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay, Gareed? What?
Oh, good.
Yeah. Gonna take a short bar break, and we will be right back. Hope you're enjoying what you've seen so far.
Yeah.
Need to keep remembering to look at the camera over there.
Yeah. And
welcome back to what is very much starting to feel like my second home up here at Mantic HQ. And we are playing, obviously, the Kings of War, the role-playing game, working our way through the quick start adventure Ash and Gold.
Yeah, I'm going to shove you there, because why not? Yeah, welcome back.
Sorry, Matt.
Geekzilla, hello everyone. Hello Geek.
Hi, Geek. Shortly before the break, we'd just entered the Tipsy Witch. You'd met Sousa. She'd regaled you with a brief intro of her travels and tales from around the continent or the area of Mantica. You just nicely settled in at the Tipsy Witch.
Yes. Just remind everyone, if you've got any questions about the system, or about the quick start or anything else in particular, I'm a Libra, but we don't need to ask about that. Just shout them out in the comments, and we'll hopefully answer them on stream for you when we see them. But yeah.
Or equally, just drop me a comment on the Kickstarter. I'm pretty good at answering PMs, so you can PM me. Just get in touch, really.
Yeah. And right, we're back in, and I'm pissed already. Doesn't take me long in any RPG.
NSFW, Matt. NSFW.
As one of his DMs, I can confirm this.
Yeah, I'm holding back.
Okay, so there's a nice murmur in the Tipsy Witch, and as you drink a bit more, that kind of murmur lulls you. You'll relax a little bit. You get your plates of. They pretty much carve the meat off for you. Some raw meat gets brought out for Poe, who seems to relax and start to purr by your feet, which are dangling near the floor. And it's a really nice welcoming atmosphere, like I say. So it's up to you what you'd like to do.
I think it'll be good to see what kind of mission we get put on, because I mean the murmurs in the storm are getting more intense, and I mean I don't really care for the politics. I just
just finding something out.
But at least with two of us, we might be able to come to some sort of conclusion.
Fingers crossed.
So we can make a kind of teamwork roll if you like, so whether you like to absorb the conversation that's happening in the pub, or
I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, just see if we can, because these people might have gone on more stuff than us, and
not overly eavesdropped, obviously, but
you just pick up the general vibe of the room.
Yeah, go for it.
So I don't have any
3 plus
keywords.
heightened senses.
Flexible practices, knowledge. Can't use strong liver yet.
It's coming.
It's coming.
No, I don't think I've got anything really that can add to it.
So over to Xander to lead it.
Dark vision. Squint.
Oh, buddy! Ow! So I ignore one of those. I have one success.
That was three ones.
Yes.
So I should have said difficulty 1 again.
So I had 3 1s and a 9.
Okay, so that's 3 inches of payback.
One of which I ignore.
It's been pretty on point, actually. At least you're consistent.
I'm too busy panicking about the number of people in this room.
Yeah. And keeping an eye on Poe, see if she's forgiven you yet. So you can ignore 1 instance of payback using the keyword. That still leaves you with 2, so you've got 1 success, 2 payback. It wasn't even like you rolled a 6 to get that success and payback.
Nope.
Okay, so the general kind of, we'll deal with the hubbub first, the conversation that you pick up. So the general hubbub is from the militia that you can overhear slightly occasionally. They get a bit loud and raucous and point fingers at each other sometimes. And there's a couple sat nearby, look like they are travelling traders themselves, and they have a bit of conversation. But you kind of get the general vibe that all might not be as congenial and smooth flowing as people appear to be translating themselves. You pick up on a bit of trouble between the council maybe and Torvik, or the Guild of Progress in particular. So there's definitely a bit of a rub there, and that's really pretty much what you can pick up from the single success. but with the payback.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I'm just going to sub out those dice in a minute.
Yeah, you kind of, as you're absorbing it, you maybe linger a bit too long staring at the militia. And one of them like looks over his shoulder and catches you staring, and you just hold his gaze for what is obviously clearly too long, and he kind of slams down his drink like, hang on lads, and he saunters over with a little bit of a weave. All right, what are you looking at, young'un? Aren't you too young to be in here?
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. You just look so pretty.
Yeah, we'll go for it.
Well, I'm going to use my. I'm pretty sure I've got my. I can use my natural charm for this.
Oh, absolutely. Anything else you can throw in there? Any sort of social skills?
So, I don't think that is my social keyword. So
yeah. So under trades, you have, just for the benefit of the viewers, you do have animal handling or animal rapport as a skill.
Yep.
And under that, you have calm. So although clearly he's not an animal, he's in a bit of a kind of disoriented state from being drunk. So I'm going to kind of let you bring in that calm as, and you can relate the skills you've picked up on working with various beasts to think about actually how can I kind of tame this potentially drunken raging beast in front of me.
So that gives me 5.
5, yeah.
Right, now
it's going to be 1 success just to kind of.
So that's 1. There's 2 payback there. 2.
Okay, so you
And just for argument's sake, so that's 3, but 3 payback.
Okay.
Oh
which
my!
becomes 2 payback.
I should have brought the dice jail out.
I know, right?
So you got 2 successes, and then on the back of that,
yeah, I got
3 successes. Sorry. And on the back of that, you've also generated 2 additional payback.
I have, yes. That it would have been 3, but I ignore 1.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's okay. You kind of like you've talked. You feel like you're talking them around. You're like, look, you know, calm down. It just happened to look in the wrong direction at the wrong time, and you feel like you've resolved it. But just as he's about to turn away, or he is turning away, he's like, just watch yourself here. Don't know why I went Scotch then. As he's turning away, Poe just kind of lazily reaches out and swipes him across the shin. So he's like, it's a bloody great big beast, and he goes to take a swipe at her.
Yeah, I'm not keen on this one.
I'm stepping up as well.
As he goes for the swing, I pull out a quarterstaff and just try to block it off.
Yep, you can go for a straight parry, I guess.
Okay, so the +1 because I'm using a melee weapon that I'm actually proficient in.
Yeah, that's cool. So he has base dice pool of 3d10.
Yep.
He's not trained in unarmed combat particularly, and he's drunk. So I'm going to take. I'm going to actually take.
Oh no, I'm going to get
one
that,
off him being incompetent,
and that, and take that, and that, and pray.
and then rather than take another dice off him being drunk, I'm going to increase the difficulty. So Poe's defense is on the NPC sheet here. So it's actually a good point to bring in the kind of melee aspect of it really and explain it to the viewers. So PCs and NPCs have a defense rating which is based on their kind of physical ability to be able to dodge the attack and also their armor which buffs their defenses. So that becomes the difficulty of what the attack needs to succeed to hit. So with Poe's defense of 1, the militiaman ordinarily needs 1 success to be able to hit Poe. But because he's drunk, I'm increasing the defense to 2, or Tipsy, let's say. So Poe's defense is 2, and the gentleman has no kind of proficiency in unarmed combat. So he needs 2 successes on 2d10. Any additional successes beyond the PC or NPC's defense rating. So if I had 2 successes to hit against defense of 2, but I actually rolled 4 successes, those 2 extra successes aren't wasted. They get translated into damage. So obviously the higher you can succeed, the better it is, because you're going to deal more damage. So the militiaman is making an attack against Poe with 2d10. Xander, you're stepping in with your quarterstaff to block, so it becomes an opposed test.
Yep.
Rather than against opposed defense. So it's just as we did earlier with the opposed test with yourself against the ogre. I'm rolling 2d10 and
I get
open
4.
Yes. So I've got 2 and explode.
I've got
I
2.
got well confused by the percentiles. Like, you're on a 20.
And I got 1 explode, so I still have 2, and I have 1, and I do generate 1.
You ignore the payback.
Oh, I ignore the payback. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Okay.
So I got 3 successes. So I did actually strike Poe, and it's an off the cuff kind of like more to ride it up than dealing damage, any trauma. So trauma in this kind of like your wound pool.
Okay.
So he's actually riled Poe, so that's whether you want to we'll deal with that in a second. But,
sure.
So I've actually slipped past the quarterstaff, cuffed Poe around the head, but I did generate payback. So in that instance also, he's kind of overbalanced and slipped onto his knees. So he's kind of like gone to cuff Poe, cuffed her around the head, and he's actually now just kind of on his knees in front of her, like, So it's wherever you'd like to take it from there, really. And I'll let you deal with Poe's actions as well, as she's your baby.
Poe is definitely not going to be happy about this. He's probably going to take a swipe. Again, I'm going to try and intercede on that one as well. I don't want to start a fight, but given that this is, a semi-wild animal, I assume she's just going to go for him.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the kind of in the background, you can see you've drawn the other 2 militia attention. So they're just in the process of putting their tankers down and like, hang on a minute, it's this, and they start to stroll over. So
okay,
we can. So for NPCs, they have an attack rating. PCs will combine their dice pool and keywords, as we said earlier. But for NPCs, they have attack rating, which translates to their actual D10 dice pool.
sure.
So the way that ramps up is that in a group, if the kind of smaller NPCs, the grunts and warriors work in a group, they'll combine to add additional D10 to the dice pool. And they can build on it with keywords as well if they have any. But grunts and warriors are generally the kind of the lesser minions, so they'll have less to bring into play than yourselves as PCs. And then we get into command and general, which are kind of on PC level, and they're a little bit more complicated. But so Poe's effectively, because you're not assisting, so Poe could assist you in an attack, for instance, and add that D10, but you're not assisting, you're trying to resist Poe and say no, hang back. So Poe is going to simply roll 1d10, and then so that's one success, and it's whether you'd like to try and like either hold her back or get the stuff in the way again.
I would like to try and grab her and hold her back.
Yeah, so it's going to be your 3d10 dice pool.
Okay, so I don't take any negatives because I've got animal rapport.
I'll go. Happy with that. You're kind of used to Poe's antics and actions.
So that is 2
successes. Okay, so she goes to cuff. You kind of like put your hand on her paw, and put her on a common spot on her neck. She's like, and the whole kind of inns come to a standstill. And at that, the 2 militiamen turn up and they're like, not quite sure what's going on, but like, let's start dragging their friend off. Like, really sorry for this. We've had too much. We need to get you home. He's like, it's a devil cat. Did you see the devil cat? Let's just go and finish our drinks, yeah?
Throw a tankard in the air. Devil cat!
And as this is being shouted, I'm literally down on my knees just you're not a devil cat.
So hopefully you can see from that kind of interest and development of how the dice pools work, how it helps flow the narrative. So we had a bit of fun there just on the dice, right?
Let's try and not get any more attention. We don't want to already piss off the militia.
Or one anyway. There's at least one keeping an eye on you.
He'll forget about it in the morning.
Let's hope so.
He'll wake up, he'll go, Was there a cat? Or am I
Why is there a
imagining it?
scratch on my leg?
I don't want to be on the wrong side of pool.
And at that, a big shadow falls over the table.
Oh god. Please don't be the ogre, please don't be the ogre, please don't be the ogre.
You see a familiar looking set of forward scarred arms.
Oh.
Kind of grip the edge of the table. So, yeah, you don't really want to upset the militia. You mind if I take a seat?
Help yourself. We got a jug of ale. Or look around for someone that I can wave down and just get some more drinks to the table.
It's pretty much instant. They all seem to have a lot of respect for this the smith that you recognise who's turned up. Pulls up at one of the larger chairs to sit in. Kind of hulks over the table with his broad shoulders. He's without his. He's still in kind of a soot-stained shirt at the moment, and slacks, but he's without his forge apron and obviously equipment and things.
As
you said we got a message there, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in the idea of the campaign in the RPG and working with Dungeon Saga, Vanguard, and Kings of War to deal with various situations. Is there a full-on bestiary or monster manual-esque kind of thing?
We're including a bestiary in the core book just because it simply won't work without it. And clearly, depending on stretch shows how much content we can kind of get into that core book. We will definitely be revisiting with a bestiary at some point in the future, and that's kind of plans we're developing with Mantic really. Dungeon Saga aspects, that's kind of one of the cool aspects I'm really excited about. I've said it a lot on various interviews with this, but I think in kind of today's world we're oversaturated but time poor. So like my group might only be able to meet for an hour one Sunday, and some people might not be able to make it. So that Dungeon Saga aspect is really exciting to say. Actually, we can still carry on the same campaign, but we can go and get this really cool item that will help us further in the campaign. Let's go and raid this dungeon. So you can break out Dungeon Saga, have that kind of 45-minute hour raid. And you know the kind of key characters of the group can be easily translated and played by other people potentially. So that's kind of one really cool aspect that we're working on there. And then the campaign will take you all the way up through Dungeon Saga elements, which you can plug in, plug out, and offer Vanguard and Kings of War scenarios as well to building up through really. So starting with Dungeon Saga elements, building in Vanguard if you want to use that, but there'll be narrative options if you don't, and then also at the end the bigger battles where particularly you can see what kind of Daleks might head towards. Again, there'll be narrative elements, and that's Rob Taylor that's working on that on the narrative aspect, which is pretty exciting.
Thanks for that, Geeks, there, and thanks for backing the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Again, if there's any other questions, feel free. Try my hardest in between my bad accent. Right, so the Smith.
Corwin's just sat down. And Sousa actually brings a drink over himself and gives him, like touch on the shoulder as she walks in. He says, "I hear you delivered my ore earlier, or part of it."
Yeah, from what books I can manage after that boat ride. I'm afraid I couldn't do more.
Sorry, I didn't get to thank you myself. I had to put up with the ever pleasant Casgrain after you left, obviously. But,
oh no, you don't have to apologise. I can appreciate the Smith's work. It never ends. I'm surprised you're here. Actually, I'm kind of not surprised you're here after the amount of work.
It's pretty relentless at the moment, and I can't complain. It is, it's paying the bills. Obviously, with so many mercs in the area and sellswords, it's like I say, it's pretty relentless. But yeah, I'm really here to hope I can kind of ask you a favour before we get too deeply involved in the mire of the politics of Daleks. I've got a bit of a personal situation myself, which I'm hoping I can get some help with before I guess potentially the guild get their claws into you.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't really done any work for them, really.
No.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm just, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I'm just really not trusting of them, especially that Torvik. He's causing a lot of issues in the background for the council. But also so just to kind of get to the crux of the matter. With so many mercenaries and so much gold flying around and so many sellswords, it's filled my son's head basically with heroic thoughts of heroes, tales of heroism and epic sagas, and he wanted to go off and make a name for himself. And as much as I tried to kind of keep him in the traditional family business and keep him working at the forge and keep him on track with what should be the family business really to take over from me, he took it upon himself to go and join up with a mercenary company, and they've a group of young lads from the local outlying farms that all decided to get together and seemed to think they knew how to wield a sword, particularly my son, because he knew how to make one or make the basic one. They went off charging off into the countryside on a mission for the guild, and they've not been seen for 4 or 5 days. Torvik, I can't get the answers. That brute of an ogre keeps me out of the shack every time I go near it. Him and the half elf keep me away every time I see him strolling through town, and I just can't get any answers on where my son is, what's happened, if anything, when they're due back, what they were doing.
So nothing at all.
Nothing. He's just completely shut me out. So I'm here. I can pay. We've got a lot of gold in the coffers at the moment, so I'm more than willing to pay for help to find out about my son. But if you can find out anything for me at all, then it would be what I'd be eternally grateful. I can even offer you good rates at my forge if you need any work done down there.
Well, that's kind of you. I don't know. I don't know what the politics. We were trying to stay out of the politics. To be honest with you,
straight in.
Yeah. Because obviously we're trying not to rustle any feathers as soon as we arrive. So
I can appreciate that. It's unpleasant times for everybody, and I'd understand not wanting to marry yourselves. Now I'm just desperate. All I know is they went to the west, and going to the west means going towards nightfall. I can't get any more than that out of anybody.
Do you know what band your son was in?
Yeah, they were called the Company of the Blade.
Okay. Well, I saw the sign-up sheet earlier.
Oh yeah, you read that, didn't you?
Hey, if you can keep him busy, I can probably have a look to see where they've gone.
Okay. Well, I mean, if end of the day, we're just looking for your son. If we're trying to just spin it, and if they went on a guild mission, we might be helping a guild mission. Doesn't really seem like a bad idea.
No. Well, we've got to go over, and we're going back in the morning anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be around there. And then what are you thinking?
Well, we can ask straight, but from the sounds of it, we're not going to get an answer.
Surely they'd be annoyed if they've lost a band of people, like, already.
Potentially.
Well, that's it. I mean, all we hear about is how much good the guild's doing. I certainly haven't heard anything from anybody else about a band being missing yet. It's all it just stinks, to be honest. And at the base, underneath it all, I'm worried about my son. He's my future.
No, that's fair. I think we could look into it. As I said, we've got to go talk to them tomorrow anyway for our own mission. And so if we can on the sly find out where they are, and you said head out west towards nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able to find something as well. We could say that we want to do some missions over that way, hopefully.
Yeah.
There might be a way.
There might be.
obviously we don't know these lands. We don't know what's out there, so I can't make any promises. But if we find your son or any clues, we can help you out.
Well, like I say, it's beyond eternally grateful. You know, I can offer you good coin, so I can give you 50 gold each as a minimum, if that's something that you'd be interested in, and just if you ever need anything maintained or made, then come and speak to me, and we can definitely make that happen. And that's, you know, I just need to know where he is, and I appreciate that's putting you, in danger with Torvik and the guild, but
Okay.
yeah, I appreciate your consideration on that. Let me buy you a drink.
Oh,
And I'll pay for your lodging tonight as well.
I mean, I'll take the drink. And here's to hopefully finding your son. But we're gonna have to chat about how we're gonna get that information.
Yeah, we are.
Because yeah, between that ogre and the half elf,
I'm more worried about the half elf.
I mean, it's not like that building is secure.
Yeah, God, yeah. The shack.
Yeah. I take it they didn't ask you to help with that.
No. Well, the ogre kind of built it overnight, almost seemingly. But yeah, you can see.
It suits his personality.
Yeah.
I reckon we can find out something if we visit them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we can, well, kill two birds with one stone. We need to find out some information, and also we can hopefully find some clues about your son.
That would be, well, like I said, I'd be on, you know, thank the Shining Ones that you're here.
But yeah, it looks like we need, well, a drink or rest or both.
Definitely a rest.
Yeah. And then we can hopefully pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. But I appreciate the drink, and I'm sure I'll repay you with that as well.
There's no need. Like I say, even just considering it, I'm beyond grateful.
As I said, we're avoiding the politics, but at the end of the day, it's your son. So.
Well, I mean, for me, even if it helps me expose, I don't know, anything they might be up to, it doesn't need to lead directly to you. I can take it to the council myself. But
well, we'd appreciate that. If it didn't come back to us, we already don't want to make trouble. But no, we appreciate the reward as well, and hopefully we find something. But I think the rest, especially after the boat ride.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of coughs the end of his drink. Says, "I'll leave you two drinks. Good lady, good sir.
You too, and
hopefully you see you soon with some news."
Fingers crossed. So that we already have not avoided politics.
Yep. So.
Okay.
So let's see if we can not avoid winding someone up.
I'm sure we can find him without winding up this. Well, there's the guild, there's the council.
There's the militia.
Oh yeah, we've already done well with them.
Hey, he attacked my cat.
I only caught the tailwind of that. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, so we need to visit them in the morning, and then I guess we can go from there.
Yeah, the evening gets a bit busier. A few more militia. Well, the three militia quickly make their exit after the incident. Anyway, Sousa thanks you for kind of holding tempers there as well. That militiaman's renowned for being a little punch drunk. The evening gets a bit busier, so a few more residents drift in. You even see what you assume to be a couple of the council members wearing kind of chains of office. So it's whether you're just kind of keeping to yourselves and just enjoying the kind of relaxed atmosphere.
As it gets busier, I take Poe upstairs to wherever our room is and just get out of there.
Yeah, understandable.
I think I'm just necking a few just to make sure I get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Just if as you go, I make my way towards the busier parts. I think I think the rowdier parts of it would be more my taste, but just sort of still keeping to myself, but just trying to be where the energy is.
Yeah.
And have enough to hopefully knock me out of it.
Yeah. I mean, at some point in the night, Susie kind of pops out of the crowd near you. You see her. She has a crew working, so that everybody's still being well looked after.
Yep.
But she kind of pops out of the crowd with looks to be a bottle of Southern wine from around the Ophid River. So she kind of cracks it open, pours you a glass. She says, "Oh, glad to be off my feet." And she puts her wooden leg up and strokes the top. She says, "Well, cheers. Here's to many more."
Cheers. It's been a long day, but I'm glad we ended up here. Is it this busy every night or?
Lately, with depends who's out on what mission, whether the council are in session or not. But it's at the moment it tends to get this busy.
God. Do you recommend a time just to beat the crowd to get a job? I don't know if you heard anything. I'm
usually preparing in the morning, but most of them leave either here or I can see them congregating over there. Probably not long after breaking the fast. So.
Okay. All right.
Although he says mid-morning, a lot of the jobs get picked up a lot earlier.
Okay. Don't want to arrive and then suddenly not get a job.
Look, I'll remind you again, but if you're out on your travels, out and about, there's a lady I'd like you to say hello to me for. Long overdue. But if you are out and about, there's a local healer known as Elmandretta. But if you could pass on that, I'm thinking of her. That's all she says.
If I pass across, I'm sure I will. Do you know what direction out she is? Or?
She's up towards the kind of northern end of the teardrop. But she helps with lotions and potions and kind of afflictions and that kind of thing. So she's a bit of a hedge wizard, I guess.
Okay, and I don't mean to give you 20 questions this late at night, but have you heard anything from out west? Hoping to travel out there, and just need to know if there's anything I should be looking out for, or if anyone's told you something under the influence. Or
from Nightfall, all I know is that the refugees tapered off about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And there was a pretty steady stream until then.
Okay.
What that means is anybody's guess, but it's definitely almost to me, and she kind of rubs her leg again. It feels like the calm before the storm.
Okay.
It's not a good sign that refugees have stopped travelling across the river from Nightfall. I think it says a lot about their not new queen, but their queen, that they were fleeing the country anyway.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Every bit of information helps. But I think I'm gonna retire for the night. Also, literally looking at the time.
Yeah.
But I appreciate all the information, and I'm definitely coming back. And you're gonna have to tell me a couple more stories.
Well, keep the bottle if you have a night tipple in your room.
You're gonna turn me into a wine fan. Trying to take the dwarf out of me. It's worth a try.
Wait until you meet Elmandretta. She walks off chuckling into the crowd.
Thank you very much. But yeah, I've retreated to bed.
Yeah.
Ready for the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think end of that.
Yeah, if you're happy to call it there.
Yeah, good little point, but I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's different every time I run it. I mean, you guys have obviously taken it a different direction you did last time.
Yeah.
Different categories. So.
Yeah, because I was the salamander.
Obtess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The master seducer. At least I thought I was. So it's always fun to see how it goes, and even just with the people. I mean, that's the good thing about role playing games. To be fair.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, I think every session I've run, somebody's brought something completely different to the table, or come up with some zany idea that's a bit different. In some different way. But yeah.
But thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
And like we said, if you got any questions, you can message you.
Yes.
Where's that at on the Kickstarter?
You can message me on the Kickstarter or PM me directly on Facebook or via the Red Scar page.
And obviously, thanks to everyone that has backed. If you haven't,
thank you so much.
I'm going to hold it against you. And if you want to see more, obviously we enjoy playing it. Let us know. This will be, if you're watching it not live, give us a comment, and we'll see you next time. But thank you so much for running this.
Yeah,
it's
thanks, guys,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And hopefully see you again soon.
Yes. Like I said, this kind of turns my second home here, so I'm sure I'll be back soon.
Bye. I've got to look really closely at the screen. Cheers, guys.